Hey Patriots, this is Alaina and Bree with your new and improved Patriot Update segment.
What's up, teachers? Today we have our new principal, Dr. Vargas.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited to be a Patriot, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic. So nice to see everyone.
So, Dr. Vargas, can you just tell us about yourself? Where are you from? Where did you go to school?
Sure. I am a native of San Diego. I grew up in the South Bay, so South San Diego. I was born and raised there, and I went to school all of my life in San Diego. When I graduated from high school, I went to San Diego State. But in all honesty, I didn't know why I was going to college, so I actually dropped out. But once I realized what I really wanted to do, which was become a teacher, I worked my butt off and went and finished all of my basic GEs at Mesa College and finished my upper division through Chico State. So I graduated from Chico State, and then I went to San Diego State because I wanted to be a teacher. So I got my teacher credential, I got my master's, and I realized that I wanted to make an impact on a much wider scale. And so I got my administrative credential to be an administrator, also at San Diego State. And so I became an assistant principal at a middle school and then transferred over to a high school. And so I have a really wide range of kind of experiences. So being able to see exactly what it means to start being a teenager all the way through when you graduate high school as a teenager. I do love teenagers, and that's just my happy place. It's just being at a high school. It really is. But when I got there, I realized that for the kind of impact and the kind of influence that I wanted to really have, not just on students, but also for who I represent as a Latinx female, I decided to go back and get my doctorate. And so I went through the joint doctoral program through UCSD and CSU San Marcos, and I received my doctorate about a year and a half ago. And it was extremely important to me to be able to be that kind of representative, not just for my family who are extremely proud of me, but also to really represent to, the communities in which I serve that, what is possible. Being the child of migrant field workers and getting to this point where I now have a doctorate and, I'm the principal of a high school, it's extremely powerful and meaningful for me. And so I don't take it lightly. But I understand also the great weight of responsibility of being here. So I am very proud and very excited to be here and to really be the principal of Orange Glen High School.
Wow, sounds like your family's pretty proud of you.
Yeah,
Very proud.
that's amazing. Um, what have you found difficult through online learning from the principal's point of view, like on everything?
I think for me, the hard part is trying to figure out how to support your teachers. Um, I've been very honest with the entire staff here at Orange Glen that I've had my own struggles with it. I have kids of my own who are 8 and 9, and I see how they struggle at home with online learning and the difficulties that they're having. My husband is a stay-at-home parent, and so he also shares with me what they're going through at home. And so I see it from both ends. I see it as a parent and the struggles that my kids have, which is hard. It's painful to watch it for me, especially because those are my kids and I want to do what's best for my kids. And so I take that information, I take those feelings and I bring that into, well, what are our students really struggling with, right? I've spoken to several students and parents as well of, just what they're struggling with. And the hard part is that with everything that's going on in the pandemic, I do feel sometimes like my hands are tied. I wish that we had everybody here. I wish that we had students here. Like I've said before, I love interacting with students. And so this gradual, like itty bitty slow transition we're having to having kids on campus, it's important, but it does add another layer of stress and anxiety because you're hoping, like that's what you're betting on, right? Is that you're hoping that everybody stays safe, that everybody stays as protected as possible. Um, and so I take that into account and also understanding that teachers are going through the same things. They're struggling with their own kids and they're trying to figure out how best to help students. And so it's a real testament to the kind of inner strength that they're going to have. And so my job is to really support teachers and building up that inner strength and really helping them through this process because they're struggling too. And so the hard part for me, I think, is trying to juggle all of that, of being a parent and seeing it from a parent's perspective, trying to be there and support kids as best, and then teachers as well. But the one thing that helps more than anything is really just talking to people, and being able to experience that. And so talking to students like yourselves, or talking to teachers and talking to parents, that's the kind of interaction that I need to have, and that I keep an open ear for.
Yeah, I think that's great that you see it from both perspectives, because I feel like we're all on the same boat with like stress and like just hoping that we go back and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were a teacher in the past, what subjects did you teach?
So I was a social science teacher. So I taught world history. I taught AP World History. I taught world history in Spanish, so bilingual world history. And then I also taught geography for English learners. I taught geography and world language in Spanish for a dual language program. I taught psychology and sociology and accelerated world history. I think that's it. So kind of a wide range.
A lot of different
Love
classes.
it. Yeah, it was a lot of classes, but I love history. I'm a big old history nerd. I love it. And it's not the stuff you read in the books. It's the stuff that no one really talks about. That's my interesting part of history.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite.
I think that's really cool. With all of this going on, is there any happy things or fun things that you did during quarantine or really enjoyed?
We got a dog. I love him, but he's a big old doofus, if that's any explanation. Like, he is like the biggest sweetheart, but he's also like, he still hasn't quite figured out how not to run into my shins. So it's a work in progress. But the biggest thing that I'm proud of is actually not something that I did. It's something that I helped my 9-year-old. He's going to be 10 soon, but he learned how to bake. And so he has baked his own cherry pie from scratch. He baked his own banana cream pie from scratch. So learning about the science of baking and the mathematics of it has really been kind of cool to just see him kind of explore that part.
Maybe he'll become a chef.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He'll feed me. That's all I know.
So do you have any idea of how you're going to deal with the COVID regulations regarding the bathrooms, like the keeping the toilet paper and the paper towels stocked and keeping everything clean and stuff?
So right now, I guess right now is kind of a test run. So we have the bathrooms open. Right now, we're only limiting 3 students in the bathroom at a time, because then that's the amount of space that you have in order to have 6 feet in between those 3 people. So keeping that part safe. Half of the bathrooms get closed during the day, and they get sanitized after about every hour or 2, hour and a half to 2 hours. They get sanitized, and then the other ones get closed and sanitized, and then vice versa throughout the day. And so during that time, everything is restocked. They have this huge sanitizing machine that they just go in and they just spray the sanitizer all over, and allow it to dry before they open it up again, and same thing. So I think that's been very helpful, is that the custodial staff has been on it, and they have a timed schedule, and they keep all of that. We make sure that we have all those supplies we need. So I think when we get more and more students, the same kind of idea, just possibly more frequent depending on how many students we have, and making sure that we have all the supplies necessary so we never run short.
So are all of the bathrooms going to be open? Because normally it would only be 2 during the day.
So right now it's still just 2. And so right now, for the amount of students we have, that's enough. When we allow more students in, those are the logistics, the details that we have to figure out, because at this point, we might have to consider opening more, because we have to limit how many students are in the bathroom at any given moment. So again, right now we're not thinking about that, because we don't have that many students that would require something like that at this time. But we adjust pretty much weekly, because we're having new numbers of students every single day. So we have to adjust our logistics and our needs, and our supervision based off of what we have here on campus. So when that time comes, we'll have another plan in place, and make sure we have enough staff in order to meet those needs.
Well, it's good that you guys are starting to think about everything in
Mhm.
different circumstances.
With that being said, do you feel safe going back to school as of right now, or no?
Well, I've been back at school since July 13th. So it's about as safe as I can be. That's the hard part and like I stated earlier, we really hope that what we're doing is the right thing. And so we're betting on hope. So everything here, you know, I sanitize my own office when I come in. I sanitize it before I leave. The custodians then come in and do a third sanitizing at the end of the day. And they do the same thing throughout the school. Every single classroom that has students in, or a teacher even that's been teaching during the day, gets sanitized every single day. To ensure that everybody's safe, we have masks. Everybody's required to wear a mask when they're on campus and dealing with people. The 6 feet. There've been very few instances where we've had to remind people to put their masks on, but when we do, people are like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Everybody's very understanding. And a big part of that, I think, has to do with the mentality that it's the cheesy thing that we're all in this together. But I think that's a big part of it, is that this whole idea of this culture of support, of where it's not just one person that we're impacting, it's several people. It's the fact that what we're doing is to ensure that everybody can get educated and have a job and be protected while here. Um, I would be lying to say I'm 100% safe and secure and like have a party in my office. That's not feasible, nor do I feel comfortable with that. I'm not 100% okay. Nor do I feel like 100% that I'm ready to have everybody back on campus. Um, I'm cautiously optimistic that what we're doing right now is working, and being slow and making sure that everybody that is here is protected. Um, but it's a work in progress. That's the hard part. It's just, you never know in this pandemic. You never know.
Yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty everywhere.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vargas. It was really great catching up with you.
Thank you both. This was very interesting and a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.